It may not be evident from this video unless you, for some reason, watch VTubers exclusively in Japan that this video is important. However, it was this video that made me aware of a tragedy that happened very, very recently. Kazuki Takahashi passed just yesterday. And as is evident, as some of my more favorite cards, some of these look cool or they're classics, but this guy, I liked the stuff that he started. I liked it a lot. That's just the general bin that I keep everything in. But I mean, Takahashi, here, let's manga. Takahashi was a part of my childhood. He helped me get into monsters. I mean, heck, this is one of the first manga I ever owned. You could tell just by how dark that is. Oops. But this is one of the first for the collection that I'd end up starting. But it wasn't just these. I wanted to show that, and especially with this guy right here, the Blackluster Soldier, kind of my deck as well. Because it's mostly just kind of some of my favorite cards to play with. Some of my favorite monsters in general, like Harpy's brother really doesn't have any reason to be there other than just a low level monster that I can summon right out the gate. But we've got some of my favorite cards of all time here, like Gaia and Summon Skull, as typical as that is. Curse of Dragon, Duna Maze. I'm sure that not one of my favorite cards, given that I can't pronounce it, but I actually do really like her. She got a really nice design. And mostly one of my absolute favorite monster cards is Gearfried, Iron Knight. As you can see, a lot of these are dragons. And we got the good old Lord of D. Good old playground joke. And some of my favorite cards to play with again is a Barrel Dragon. That thing is pretty nasty if you know how to get in position. These things are pretty nasty too. And some of my more favorite cards is Fencing Fire Ferrets. These things are a little treat. And some of the few remaining, the few remaining 6 samurai I still have from my childhood. Some of my favorites too. So I'm glad. And then the almighty Jinzo. Again, water. Just dragons in general. We got this cool last card, which is the spirit of these two babies right here. Some blue eyes white dragons. Of course, we got the flute. We've got some fusion substitutes because for some reason getting your hands on a polymerization card specifically proved to be a bit more difficult. More dragon stuff. Magic Jammer, like always. Just the stuff you need, basically. And this thing. Oh, sorry. This first off, because I have Gaia, the Dragon Champion. Again, Curse of Dragon and Gaia, the Fierce Knight, are some of my favorites. Curse of Dragon is actually in that manga right there. It's first featured. But why this thing is specifically here is for our strategy, just in case I lose the guy for this card, the Blackluster Ritual. And leading to one of my favorite cards of all time. Just gonna get some of the synchrones there just before we move on to the favorites. That one, I love that guy. That right there, Seven Swords Warrior, is my second favorite out of all of them. The third would probably be Gearfried. Oh, hey. Hello, the only tuner card in this deck. How can this deck function? Speaking of which, I think I have too many cards. I think this breaches the card limit. Just at a glance, I haven't actually counted. But, Scarred Warrior. I actually haven't seen this guy in the show. I haven't finished 5Ds. But these three were from the manga because I read 5Ds. But moving on to my favorite card, Blackluster Soldier. And the reason why I had to have this thing when I saw it was that it was a Fungo for my favorite card ever. And like all these other cards, we got the only good thing to come out of the Pendulum meta phase is this card sleeves. And I guess we're gonna end it on Lord of D going for the grab. The second one, or I guess the third one if you count the Queen that went this year, the other one being my ma. So this is not a fun year for this hasn't been a fun year. Let's hope that I can do good and make things better.